Well, folks, it is that time of year again. We have officially received listings for almost every January 2026 set. So, in this video, I'm going to go over them, covering some pretty exciting stuff near the end you won't want to miss out. So, anyway, here is my review of the January 2026 sets so far. Starting off with the January 2026 stuff, first up we have the subscribe button. You see, I actually timed it and it takes approximately 0.96 seconds to hit the subscribe button. So why don't y'all just go ahead and do it right now? I mean, everybody knows that just clicking subscribers are the coolest people on earth, right? Anyway, shameless self-promo aside, the first real set that we have up here is Cole's Car Polybag. This one's going to retail for $4.99 obviously, and it's said to be a remake of the polybag from 2012, which, I mean, looking at this polybag, it does look a bit terrible, and I wish they could have remade like a better one if such polybag existed. But if this comes with the Legacy 15th anniversary or whatever Cole they're putting out for the next year 15th anniversary, I mean, I think that it could be decent, but I really hope they just include the 15th anniversary Cole and don't just cheap out on that. But if they do that, this could be an alright polybag. But yeah, they better improve on that build significantly because, you know. Next up, we have the gimmick sets for the season. We have Nia versus the Elemental Monster Spinjitzu battle, and then Lloyd versus Elemental Monster Spinjitzu battle. They're about 50 pieces, $10. Pretty typical of these like gimmick sets. These elemental monsters that they're talking about here, so far we have rumors of like 3 of them here. The mutant monster, this green vine thing, this earth monster who's this tan thing with crab hands. Then finally down here, this acid monster with which is a purple and green snake. All of these are elemental masters, so elemental monster, you know, probably makes sense. That's probably what they're talking about. You also get this loyalist who is a Rox lookalike, and yeah, we'll see her or this loyalist popping up in many future sets that we're going to be looking at. So yeah, so far these gimmick sets, like, they're alright. I'm interested to see what this spinner battle is. They'll probably come with 2 minifigures, but seeing these minifigures probably being included, I think makes me happy because we have seen leaked images and they do look really cool. So getting them for just $10, I think, is definitely a good deal for children, and I'm excited to see what these spinners are. Moving on, we have Kai's Dragon Mech Battle Pack. It's a $10 set, 85 pieces. We don't know what minifigures it's going to include, but I mean, it's probably going to have Kai, like, looking at it. It's most likely going to be similar to Zane's Battlesuit mech. Seems like LEGO's continuing with the trend they had going for 2 years, which is making this small mech set with a bunch of minifigures and a decently small mech. So if I'm gonna guess, it'll probably come with 3 minifigures, Kai, another ninja, probably one of these monsters back here, and then it'll probably come with like a tiny mech, like Evo type, maybe close to this in scale. So yeah, should be a decent $10 set, but we don't really know much else about it. Moving on, we do know quite a bit about Cole's Mission Mech and Dragon Zane. 364 pieces, $35. Based on the piece count, I'm guessing it's going to be bigger than your average Elemental Mech because it has like 150 more pieces. So I'm excited to see what they do with that. If I'm guessing the scale will be similar to like the original Samurai X mech that we got way back in 2012. I just can't think of another mech that we got in between that was in that scale. But I'm interested to see what they do with that. You get 3 minifigures, which is a decent number for $35. You get this dragon variant of Zane. These dragon variants of the ninja, they pop up in all of these sets pretty much, and it seems like they're going to be unlocking some new power. So I guess we'll have to wait for the show to see what that is. We get a regular Cole. Not sure about that, but then we get an acid monster. Again, getting these monsters in sets, like, it's good, because acid monster, especially the snake with the snake tail piece, I'm sure that would be excellent for kids, and it's great to see that they're coming in so many sets. Apart from that, like, this set overall, we don't know much else about it. We don't know much about the mech, but seems to be a decent price with a decent minifigure selection, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Then moving on, we have the Ninja Dragon Ryu's battle. It's a bit of a sketchy price per part ratio, 347 pieces for $45. We don't know anything about the minifigure selection, but it'll probably come up with a sized up version of Ryu just because that's what they've been doing for the last 2.5 years of Dragons Rising, and it'll probably come with Eren and Sora. I'll elaborate more on why I think that later on, but for now, it's pretty much like every single Ryu set we've gotten has come with Eren and Sora, like the baby dragon Ryu from 2024, so that's just why I think that, but there is more which I'll explain later. Then next up we have Jay's transforming car, 387 pieces, $55. Again, might be stretching that price a bit too much, but it does come with a good minifigure selection. You get Jay, 2 Dragon Ninja, Kai and Nia, then an Earth Monster, and a Loyalist Leader. So 5 minifigures, that's pretty good for $55. I'm guessing that it's gonna be bigger than this Jaywalker one, which I have a picture of down here. This set retailed for, I believe, $40, and it has a similar piece count, but it also had like a side build. And I just hope that some of the pieces here are like big pieces to justify that price. But yeah, it also does have one more minifigure. This set, probably with inflation, is maybe like $50. So I would want this set to be bigger than this. But yeah, that's just what I think. We don't really know anything else about the car, except for the fact that it'll probably transform. Then moving on, we have the Ninja Motorcycle Battle at the Treehouse, 682 pieces, $80. Again, a bit iffy on the price, though the minifigure selection once again is quite good. You get Kai, Zane, Dragon J, Euphrasia, I wonder if that's a new Euphrasia, then a Loyalist, and an Acid Monster. So this set seems to be like the big terrain build of the season. Again, I just hope it comes with big pieces to justify that price, but I think it's probably just gonna be like a treehouse, like a small, maybe $50 temple treehouse build, and then it'll come with like $15 worth of like small ninja vehicles to battle and some villain vehicles to battle against. So I think that's probably what this set is gonna be. But yeah, other than that, the minifigure selection's good. The price, but I am also interested to see what this set is gonna be about. Then moving on, we have the Dragon of Life, 1,050 pieces, $110. Price per piece ratio is pretty solid. Of course, price per piece isn't everything, but it gives me good vibes about this set. The minifigure selection, 8 minifigures, is perfect for this set. You get Dragon Lloyd, Dragon Cole, Zane, Aaron, Sora, an Acid Monster, an Earth Monster, and a Loyalist Leader. So pretty much every single minifigure you would want from the villains except for the Mutant Monster. And then 2 Dragon Ninja, Zane, Aaron, Sora. It's a really, really good minifigure selection, in my opinion. Personally, you get 8 minifigures. If I were to guess, I think that this set is probably going to be a bit bigger than the Arc Dragon of Focus. Looking at this piece count, it has about 200 pieces more. But remember, the Arc Dragon of Focus also had the little Drix spinner thing, which probably added like $10 to the budget and took up like 20 pieces. So I think overall about 220 pieces more. So I would estimate that this set is going to be a bit bigger. Maybe not too much, but I think that it will definitely be a bit bigger. And it probably will have to justify that price, because I don't think the Arc Dragon of Focus was worth the full $100. But looking at this minifigure selection, you get some fantastic minifigures, all for a good price. Like, I'm pretty happy with this set. The only caveat is that this may not be an actual Source Dragon, which is definitely a bummer, because I've been asking for another Source Dragon since 2024, but that doesn't take away from this set. It's really shaping out well in my opinion. With that said though, we are actually done with all of the Dragons Rising Season 3 sets. Now we're going on into the 15th anniversary sets, so everything up till here, except for maybe the polybag, were Dragons Rising Season 4 sets, but now we're past it. Now we're into the anniversary sets. First up, we have the 4 Weapons Blacksmith Shop, 1,259 pieces, $100. Pretty decent price, in my opinion. I think it's probably going to be a good deal. The minifigures are Blacksmith Kai, Nia, Wu, Ray, and Maya, and the Master of Earth, who is the anniversary minifigure. So I guess just covering these one by one. Blacksmith Kai could be good. I just really hope they don't reuse the same one from Ninjago City Markets, because that one wasn't accurate to how he looks here. Nia, I'm assuming this is going to be Nia in her dress and not Nia in like the Samurai X outfit, but that's just what I think. Wu, Ray, and Maya are super exciting because this is the first time that we're getting them in like 9 years, and this is only like the second time ever that we're getting them. So it's great that LEGO took this opportunity to give them, and I am super excited to get them in this minifigure form. Then here we have the Master of Earth. So it's very interesting that they chose to call this the Master of Earth and not just Cole. This is the anniversary figure, by the way. So I have seen some people theorizing that this is the first ever Elemental Master of Earth, and the collectible minifigures, the anniversary minifigures, are the first ever elemental masters of that particular element, along with the first Spinjitzu master. And I gotta say, I think that is certainly interesting. I just hope they don't do like another what do you call it, another golden suit for the ninja, because we've seen way too many of them, and it's nice to see that they're doing something else, or at least I hope they're doing something else. But yeah, overall this set, great price, pretty good minifigure selection. I would have liked to see one more Skulkin, or a Skulkin, maybe even Samukai, but I know they'd have to make a brand new mold for that, so I understand them not putting it in. But overall, this seems to be a very good build with a pretty good minifigure selection. Then moving on, we have the Old Town. This set we know basically nothing about except for the piece count, 4,851, and the price, which is $310. The leading theory is that this is Jamanikai Village, but really it could be just anything. It could even be a Ninjago City set that just has references to old Ninjago. We don't know anything, so I'm just going to move on. Finally, the last set for January 2026 is the Ninja Anniversary Display. 447 pieces, $45. Pretty solid price so far. The minifigures, we get Lloyd, Kai, Cole, Jay, Zane, Nia, and Wu. The Nia here, I'm assuming, is in her Samurai X outfit, and these are all remakes of their Season 1 outfit. The Master of Lightning, again, that could be Jay, or that could be the first ever Elemental Master of Lightning. It's an anniversary minifigure, and this includes a small portion of the monastery with stairs, an opening gate, and a cherry tree, and inside there's a small tea shop with a painting showing a battle for Ninjago. So this is supposed to be a display, and I'm curious how the display integrates with this, because from what it seems like, it just seems like a gate with a part of the monastery, but maybe there's a display stand included. I don't know. As for the minifigures, it's absolutely insane that we're getting 8 of them in a $45 set. They're said to be remakes of the Season 1 outfit, so that could be Legacy, but I don't think they'll just re-release the Legacy suits. Instead, I think they'll probably do something similar to this, like looking at this Lloyd. I have a feeling that this side, the right side of the Lloyd, represents his Dragon's Rising Season 4 suit with this thing up here in the darker green, and this side here represents his remake 15th anniversary outfit, because the armor looks similar. This thing here, this crest, it doesn't look exact, but the shape is similar, and they did have to squish the two suits together, so I can definitely see that happening. I have a feeling that they will do something similar to this, just because that's the image they gave us. Overall, I'm really excited to get this set because it's cheap. It comes with great minifigure selection, genuinely one of the best minifigure selections of all time in a Ninjago set. And I have nothing more to say on this set. It's just great. I hope the build is decent, but with the great minifigure selection, I'm going to be picking this one up day one anyways. So that concludes my thoughts on each individual set. So I guess I'll just go back and look at this wave as a whole. So one of the big complaints that fans had about the Dragon's Rising Season 3 Part 2 or the 2025 Summer Wave was the price distribution, because there were a lot of expensive sets and maybe 3 cheap ones. But looking at this wave here, it seems to be pretty decent. You have a couple $10 sets, you have 2 $10 sets here, another $10 set, $35 set. I think every kid should be able to afford all 4 of those sets. Then you have 2 sets in the middle where some kids will be able to afford them, some won't. And then you have 2 expensive sets for the collectors and the older Ninjago fans. So I think that strikes a healthy balance. We have something for all Ninjago fans, and I believe every Ninjago fan will probably find at least one set that they like in this wave. Though, unlike the summer 2025 wave, I'm glad that they did decide to make more cheaper and mid-sized sets here, because yeah, that summer wave was brutal for most people's wallets. And here, yeah, you have some expensive sets around here, especially the Dragon of Life and the anniversary sets, but just looking at the Dragon's Rising sets, which is I think what more kids will be interested in than the anniversary sets, because the anniversary sets are obviously aimed towards people who grew up with Ninjago, so that's probably young adults now. Looking at the stuff aimed towards kids here, you do have quite a few good sets for kids. Well, good remains to be seen, but you definitely have some sets for kids, and they seem to be at a decent price, so I'm happy with that. Moving on though, the villain army is a really interesting thing that I saw here. So you can see we get these monsters a lot in the sets and the loyalist leaders, and you get one of these regular loyalists. So again, I did wonder, is there a difference between these? And I have a feeling that there is, because the listing was very specific about Loyalist here and Loyalist Leader here. So that begs the question, what's the villain army? Is like, going back to the villains here, are all of these the villain army? Are the mutant monsters, the earth monsters, and the acid monsters all the villain army? Because they do come in a lot of sets, and I don't really think so, because they are all elemental masters, and I don't think there's just an army of these elemental monsters here. I think that more than likely these are going to be like secondary villains. Think of it like Lord Roz is the main villain, and the mutant monsters are like Cinder and Jordana, like secondary villains, not the main villains, but still villains and not a villain army. And the Loyalist Leader is going to be one of them. The Loyalist Leader is probably going to be similar to the Earth Monsters, and the Loyalists are going to be the main villainous faction. So the Loyalist will be the villain army, the Acid Monsters and the Loyalist Leaders and the other monsters will be the secondary villains. Which, the only reason I find that interesting is because the Loyalist only comes in one set, while the Acid Monster, like, so far comes in 3, I believe. So the Loyalist being the main villain army, when he only comes in 1, though there is a chance that he could come in this one and this one, so probably not this one though, because it says Elemental Monster, not Loyalist. So a villain army minifigure coming in only 3 sets is a bit strange to me. But another thing that we're missing from the villains is the mutant monster, actually. Like, the mutant monster does not appear anywhere in these listings. It's possible, of course, he could appear in, like, this set, or he could appear in the spinners, but, yeah, interesting. But, moving on from the villains and the overall figure distribution, again, I think it's pretty solid here. You do have some dragon minifigures that are exclusive to the bigger sets, but I honestly don't mind that because the dragon figures do seem to be premium versions of the ninja, so I don't mind like gatekeeping them behind a pretty big price wall. But going down cheaper, looks like you can get quite a few ninja here. Like here, it'll probably come with Eren and Sora, which I'll explain in a moment. But here, you get Cole, you get Zane. Here, you'll get Kai and another ninja. You get Lloyd and Nia here. So I think every kid should probably be able to get their favorite ninja for a fairly cheap price. And if not fairly cheap, like definitely within $55, you'll probably be able to get every single ninja. They'll come in a set that's under $55, which is a huge bonus compared to, of course, the summer 2025 wave. So I'm happy to see that. Then on the topic of figures, there are quite a few missing figures. Firstly, you have Lord Ross. He does not show up here at all. I have a theory that's because his suit for Dragon's Rising Season 3 Part 2, the bone suit, it is different from his regular suit, but I have a feeling it's way too similar to the Blood Moon Lord Ross that they released, and they probably just don't want to re-release the same minifigure 3 times in a row, so that's why he doesn't show up in any of these sets here. But there's also other minifigures like Wildfire and Frack. Of course, again, they could show up in these sets, but I don't really think so. We've had a rumor for quite a while that they're not going to be coming in these sets, and these listings do appear to corroborate that. If that's the case, I just hope they come back with better Wildfire and Frack minifigures in the summer. But I think they will remake these minifigures at some point, just maybe not January 2025. Finally, I guess I'll go on to the anniversary sets. The Dragon's Rising Season 4 sets seem to be really solid, but of course we'd have to see pictures. But the anniversary sets are really something special. Of course, the cheapest anniversary set is $45, which I honestly don't really think is a problem. Of course, if we have regular Dragon's Rising sets that are only more expensive than $40, that would be a problem. But the anniversary sets, like I said, are clearly meant to be towards older people who have watched Ninjago since they were kids. So for that, I can understand them making it like $300 and $100. But for the price, they seem to be fantastic. I mean, this set here, you get some good minifigures, probably a big build. I don't know anything about this one, but this one especially, like, this one really impressed me because you get 8 minifigures here. All of, like, literally all the minifigures that you could possibly want from Season 1 remade in Legacy, or like whatever 15th anniversary they're doing. and you get it for $45. They could have easily made this like a monastery set for $80 and put all these minifigures only in an $80 set, but no, for $45. Pretty much anyone who wants these sets should be able to, who wants these minifigures should be able to get them. I mean, $45 is not very expensive. It's like middle of the road, but it's not like $100. So I'm really happy that Lego chose to make this set on the cheaper side. Again, they could have very easily milked Ninjago fans out of every penny and made this like $80. But yeah, I just hope the build is good. But yeah, I mean, overall, I'm pretty excited for these sets. Of course, there is a chance that with pictures we could be very sorely disappointed. Some sets don't have the best price per part ratios, but overall, I think that even the sets that have bad price per part ratios, they'll probably have big pieces to make up for it, and they definitely have very good minifigures, so there is that also. Overall, I think that this wave is probably something special, and I'm really excited for it, but let me know what you think down in the comments below and subscribe.